FKP, I said I was going to make this fucking video. I'm finally going to make this video. And I'm going to give a warning because all the guys are going to end up here. If you don't watch the shit that I put out, I use bad words. So if your ears are going to hurt, and you're going to leave a comment about how you're trying to watch this shit with your kid or your grandkid, fuck off. Find a different video. We're going to talk about tripods. I'm going to talk about all the tripods that I fucking have. And I'm going to give a shout out to multiple fucking people who sent me tripods so I can make this video. But first, the self-sponsorship shit. HousePartyDistro.com. I make t-shirts. Thanks for hitting the camera. Graves using a tripod. HousePartyDistro.com. If you need t-shirts, we make t-shirts. Your church, your band, your oil change place, whatever. We got you. Superior Defense. Nothing on the website ever for sale. Grave Solution. Dirty Kid. 4 Observations Group. Overpassbags.com if you need an inexpensive fucking imported bag with a good zipper and semi-decent customer service. Overpassbags.com. Shout out to Del Taco. Someone got mad at me because I didn't give my shout out to Del Taco. Our lighting changed, which is good. Tight. So let's jump into it. Let's talk about tripods. We are going to talk about them in the warehouse, and then eventually I'll probably get out to the dirt and go shoot some stuff. So, if you don't know shit about tripods, they were traditionally used for photo equipment, video equipment, blah, blah, blah. Then, I don't know how, maybe 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, someone said, hey, we should start shooting off of tripods, and we have this ability to adapt camera equipment to make it useful for firearms. Most of the application is going to be based for long-range stuff, hunting, that type of shit. Tons of special operations guys use them. And the first tripod that really came to the fucking trap back here. God damn it. The first tripod that really hit the fucking market really, really, really hard and really heavy was going to be this jammer right here. This isn't even a complete original setup, but this is a tripod by a company called Shoutouts Systems, and I probably butchered it, but he is the inventor of the hog saddle. Originally, what you would do is you would have this aluminum block that clamped from both sides. You see a lot of hunting guys use it. It's a fantastic system. He put it on this aluminum tripod with a center section, so you have the ability to bring it up and down. You put the spike feet on it. Heavy, tons of flex in it. Sucks to use on anything that isn't fucking dirt or astroturf or mud or whatever the other stuff is. And the other thing is it has these style of legs, right? That are clamps. These clamps like this, I fucking hate this. And you'll see all the other ones that I have. I don't use clamps, I use twists, and I will talk about that here shortly. Now, typically what ended up happening is, this one's dirty and it gets stuck often. So typically what ends up happening with tripods is, if you're going to be carrying this around in a bag or whatever, you don't want to be fucking around with this. It's heavy, it's stupid. That's the true, like, shitty thing about tripods is once you start shooting off of them, you realize how stupid they are. Take that from me, I'm trapped back here. And essentially you realize you don't shoot it as often as you want to. You get in weird positions, they're good for that. They're fun, they're awesome. But I will say this, you see how many tripods I have. Don't run out and spend $1,600 on a really right stuff. There are other options out there. There are a ton of people who make tripods now. Tons of rebranded shit. Zero Fox Given. I'll give a shout out to those dudes. I did this in the last video. I talked about how they sent me a tripod. They sent me a couple. They sent me this Warrior tripod, which is a big boy, girthy boy for the heavy guns. They sent me a Bog, which is an entry level. I would consider an entry level tripod. Big ball head on the top. Annex. Don over at Annex. I always talk about that dude. He sent me the Leo photo stuff. And then I bought the 2 Vets, which is basically just like the Warrior. I like the Warrior a little bit better because the legs have a different twist mechanism on them. Then, like I said, the Leo photo stuff, they've really been coming out with really, really good fucking stuff. I would suggest these. And then if you got the coin like that, really right stuff is straight up the pinnacle of tripod for shooting off of. So, well, I don't know which one we're going to talk about first. I guess the Bog, that's the one. So there's a couple different variations of ball heads and clamps and shit like that. I traditionally use Arca, right? Arca comes from the camera world. You can see on the top of this one, it has an Arca adapter or head on it. So you have the ability to use an Arca plate, whether you get one from Annex or whoever, since they make them. You just throw this thing in here. Cool. Clamps in on the side. Then you have the ability to move it this way with this adjustment. This thing rotates like this. Point this at you. And then if you've never shot behind a tripod, then you can see that you have the ability to get into like this, make it offset, make it not level, do all these other things. And then there's a couple of other companies that make, everyone makes Arca plates now, but you have the ability to move this further back, further forward. And that's pretty much it. It's super fucking simple. Don't overthink it. But I will say, the one thing when you're looking at a tripod, and I talked kind of briefly about this, is that with ball heads, especially with heavier guns, you might want to change out to a different ball head style or even a tripod style, because these guns, and you'll see this with the lesser expensive versions of ball heads, is that this is clamped, right? It'll still move. So if your gun is heavy, you're shooting a longer gun. We understand how leverage works, right? So you have this thing all the way clamped down, and you're still able to move it. The other thing to think about when you're buying a tripod, again, I'm not an expert on any of this shit. I'm just talking about the stuff I own. Aluminum legs, like I said, they are heavier. They're not as rigid. So once you're all the way out, you're going to get flex in it. You're going to get it to fucking move. That's the beauty of carbon. Yes, they cost more, but it's going to suck when you're going to shoot and you get in behind this fucking gun. You get all your points made, and your fucking tripod flexes on you. So, like I said, this is the Bog. This has the Zero Fox Given ball head on it. I would consider this entry level. Fantastic fucking tripod for the price. I personally would spend a little bit more and get something like the Leo Photo or even the Warrior, because carbon's going to make your life easier. It's going to be easier to shoot off of, and the mounting solution is a little bit better. So this is the Warrior. This is going to be a carbon, right? So this one's going to be a little heavier because it is a bigger fucking tripod, and it has a different style of ball head that goes in here. When you buy these, you actually have to get like an adapter that goes in here, but this is Arca. So, let's see. Throw this on here, clamp it down. Cool. You have a clamp adjustment on the side right here. If it's too loose or whatever, you're sharing guns, sharing fucking tripods with homies. This one is basically like the two vets, right? Big section. You can change out your ball head if you really need to, if you don't like the clamp style. The other thing to note is that if you're using a tripod table or whatever, you need to be able to actually mount this and have access, because, let's see. Also, this is how you adjust this one, is you loosen this down here and then it rotates. And you don't have the same amount of fucking angle that you can use, which is fine. But you can see that this has a QD lever right here on the side. The one thing that I will suggest too is that I was talking about this with the clamps in the very first part. This one I do prefer over the two vets, because these have rubberized versus doing the plastic ones. If you get maple syrup off of your fucking hot dog on this thing, it's gonna be shitty. You're not gonna be able to grab it. And again, with the heavier guns, you'll see I have an N6 with me and this as well, and I'll put it on these other two tripods, and you'll be able to see it. So the next tripod we're going to talk about is the Leo Photo I talked about in the last video, and I'll kind of show you how the different heads are cooler or better or whatever. So this is the Leo Photo right here. I've been shooting off this a little bit. Dawn sent this to me. You can see that this leg section right here, this is as small as this fucking collapses. So that's another thing that exists with out center sections, which would come down to the center. This is lighter, pretty fucking stiff for what it is. This has a different style of ball head on it that actually I prefer with these, because both Leo Photo and Really Right Stuff does this. This takes Arca and 1913. So if you're an old school dude, you shoot off of whatever your rifle is, then it has a fucking Arca on it, or it doesn't have an Arca on it and it has a 1913, you have the ability to do so. So let's throw this on here. Same situation, right? Clamps right up on the fucking side. You get a good lockup on that. The way that this works is, you can see there's a different pivot point in here, and then you have the adjustment for all of your, you lock it here, and then you can fine tune it with this. So this tripod, I do like this one. I would suggest this if you don't have really right stuff money. This is kind of the direction you should go. And Leo Photo Outdoors, I think, is where these come from, or even NX Defense. But this is a solid tripod for the fucking price, and I've actually shot quite a bit off of this, and I do enjoy it. But let's throw a longer gun on here, or heavier gun, and see how that affects it. Because remember, not everyone is shooting, you know, a fucking 2-pound gun. And then you can see how much this wobbles. This is a 16-inch N6, so this is a large frame. It does have a PBS 24 on there, and an Atlas, all the goofy shit that's on this gun. This gun's gonna be a little bit heavier, but it does, you can see, changes how you actually shoot this thing. So, good price point, solid tripod. Like I said, I've shot a bunch off of it. I do enjoy it. Now, I don't have a gun out here with 1913 on it, so I can't even show you that, but I do have another tripod that I will show you. So this is going to be the really right stuff. This is a SOAR 30. This one, I'm going to say, is the cream of the crop for tripods, and I will say why. So this ball head, the way that this works is you have a throw lever on the side for your adjustment so you can control your rifle, and then your locking mechanism is up on the top right here, and it has another lock. So if you open your gun, it also has what they call R-lock, and there's a little pin that comes up, and that goes into the bottom of your ARCA section. Now your ARCA section actually has to have R-lock locations, like this does, you can see on the bottom. And once you throw it in here, cool, it should, let's see if I'm in it. There it is. Damn, I can't do it. Once you unlock it, it still engages like halfway, so you can't push this thing further forward or back or whatever. Now, another thing to think about is, and you'll see it, why this is cool is once you're behind the gun, you get in behind it, you have the ability to adjust your gun with this throw lever. Everything is done with your support hand. Yeah, so get behind your gun, you lock it in, cool. You don't ever have to come off your fire control hand, and you're good to go. So I think truly the really right stuff is the fucking tripod to go with. Again, if you have that type of coin. These things are not fucking cheap. They're super light. They pack really, really small. So if you travel with something, that's worth your time. But yeah, FKP tripod video. I said I was going to fucking make it. There it is. Those are the tripods I own. Don't run out and buy a tripod because I fucking told you should have one, because I have 30 of them and I built a prison out of them back here. So FKP, it's fucking hot. I'm melting.